After some self-review and peer review on my last video, I've decided that I may have understated both of the types just a little bit. I would like to spend a few more minutes on each of the types just explaining what their differences may be. Alright, let's get started. One major point I would like to make for the INFP is that I did not mean to say that they were not empathetic at all. I meant to say that they typically have a strong preference for extreme sympathy. And extreme sympathy can often come off to feel like empathy to the INFP, where the INFP is so strongly mirroring and reflecting what the person that they are feeling towards is feeling, it might come off as feeling those exact feelings themselves, but realistically it is more of a what would I feel if I were in your shoes, whereas a INFJ with extroverted feeling tends to see another person's pain and feel pain because of that pain. This is where a lot of people get confused with sympathy versus empathy because they assume it's one or the other, and that is not exactly the case. Because of the INFP's preference for extreme sympathy, they might actually have more feeling towards a person than someone with empathy would feel. And a person who is empathetic might not exactly relate to the person that they see in pain and thus would have no feeling of pain for that person, whereas the INFP would do their best to imagine what it would be like to be in that person's place and might be more likely to feel actual pain because of this. To try to stabilize confusion on the topic though, I will say that INFPs are fully capable of feeling empathy, while INFJs are fully capable of feeling sympathy. They tend to have a preference for one over the other because of their feeling function, but that does not stop any one human from having both. In fact, almost every human is going to at least feel some sort of sympathy and empathy. Enough on that particular topic though. Now I would like to talk a little bit more about the INFP strengths. And one thing that I forgot to mention in my last video, and I feel bad for not mentioning this, is that the INFP tends to be very creative and almost artistic. The INFPs usually have a strong internal world of morals, of ideas, and they enjoy expressing these to the outside world because of their preference for extroverted intuition. And this can often present itself in the artistic ways. INFPs may enjoy painting, they may enjoy public speaking, they may enjoy things like this, where they feel that they can express their introverted feelings and how they those feelings might affect the world around them. Speaking of affecting the world around them, the INFP is often known for having very strong inner morals, and this is going to lead them to have a very strong sense of what is right and wrong. You might find the INFP standing up for what they believe is right in society. They might see a societal difference that they believe to be truly wrong, and they will do everything they can to stand up against this. You might see them standing up for the underdog, for the one that is less known, for the person who is not being treated correctly. Because of these inner morals and what they believe is right and wrong, they will deem this as completely incorrect, and it will go against everything they are, and they will express how this can be changed through their extroverted intuition. They will want to stand up, they will want to make a change in the world, they will have dreams and visions, ideas about this. And they are more likely and fully capable of pulling through with these ideas and making sure that these things come to be concrete decisions. One thing I talked about in my previous video was the introverted thinking function of the INFJ, and it may have sounded overdone, and that was not the intention. For the INFP is easily one of the most intelligent types statistically as well. The INFP is known for being able to adapt to any situation. They are able to do whatever they want in whatever work field they enjoy. The only downside I note to this is that the INFP typically does not enjoy being competitive as much as the other types. They may enjoy being competitive, but less so in a violent or aggressive manner. That is not going to stop the INFP from following a dream that they believe to be relevant, though. The INFP is going to follow through with what they enjoy, and they are going to follow through with their ideals because of their introverted feeling. With a strong preference for being individualistic, I find that the INFPs are usually not very judgmental of other people unless they are under extreme amounts of stress. One of my very close friends is an INFP, and one of the reasons we get along so well, being an INTJ myself, is that I'm very different and he does not judge me for being different, and I very much appreciate this in the INFP personality type. I said in my first video that the INFJ is easily able to spot the potential of another person, and this may be so for the INFP as well, but in my opinion the INFP is more able to believe in a person's potential. They are able to push them even if that potential is not exactly what the INFJ would see it to be. The INFP might say, I believe you can do this, and I know you can do this, so go forth and do it. Even if they might on the inside believe that is not always the case, they are going to push their friends and family to do things that they believe that they know they can do. Now I would like to spend a few more moments talking about the INFJ, and one thing I would like to say about the previous video is that I showed and portrayed Hitler as an INFJ, and while history believes Hitler to be an INFJ, I did not mean to associate Hitler as being an INFJ, making INFJs evil. That was surely not my intention. Many INFJs throughout history have been great people, and I will have them portrayed here on the screen so you can see that. One of the greatest strengths I would like to speak about for the INFJ, and this is shared with the INTJ because of introverted intuition, is their dedication to a cause or what they believe in. The INFJ is not going to give up when they have decided that a goal is in mind, and this is because of their extroverted judging preference. When they see a vision, they want to bring it to completion. Introverted intuition combined with extroverted feeling is going to want them to bring their harmonious-based desires to fruition. INFJs tend to be private, but in a more so contemplative way. The INFJ tends to be very romanticized in their own minds. They enjoy envisioning things. Being an INTJ with dominant introverted intuition, I often tell people that I have a strong internal fantasy world where I like to portray my tertiary introverted feeling. And I believe that the INFJ might have something along the same lines as this with their extroverted feeling secondary. And I know the INFP has a strong fantasy preference as well, but I believe it to be somewhat different, although they can be similar, which is one of the reasons that people often get confused between these two types. Also, I spoke earlier of the INFP's ability to push people to what they believe they can actually do. The INFJ, on the other hand, I believe believes in a more step-by-step approach to this. The INFJ who sees someone's potential is going to try to guide them to come to that potential. They're going to say, let's do this together, or I know you can do this. And while it does sound similar to the INFP's motivational version of this, the INFJ is more likely to guide that individual being to that point in their life. This being said, as an INTJ myself, I often find it hard when I am trying to help people and they often get confused because of situations that happened in their past. And to the INJ personality types, this is not something that we tend to do. We tend to be future thinkers. And I'd like to quote Thomas Jefferson on this because he said, "I like the dreams of the future better than the history of the past." And Thomas Jefferson was an INFJ, by the way. And to the INJ types, we believe that the past is behind us and the future is ahead of us, and we can make the future a better place. So we should go about doing this. We should work together. We should dream together. We should think together and come about doing this. This is not to say the INFP type does not have these dreams, but the INJ types are very known for having one singular dream, one desired outcome that they want, and pushing full force to make this outcome come into play, come into reality. Alright, that's all the time I have for this video, and I hope I cleared a few things up between the INFJ and the INFP that I did not get to in my last video. If you enjoyed this, please let me know. If you felt this portrayed you correctly, let me know. I am always looking to improve my own descriptions in my mind of the types. I am not afraid of honest criticism. You can be real with me. Thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for more videos.